And we are back. Welcome to part 2 of the weekly routine. It is now time for the fantasy football section, where I tell you the players that you should be looking to put into your fantasy football teams for the upcoming game week, and then challenging you to build your own teams that can beat my best of team for this week. Let's not beat around the bush. Let's get straight into it. Let's see how we got on in game week 12, because it didn't quite go as planned, but it didn't end up being too bad overall. As you can see here, this is the team that we went for. My slight disappointments were on Robertson because Liverpool got the clean sheet and sadly he didn't start. Still think he'd probably be a good pick for this week. I imagine he would start today. Rashford, of course, with all those chances against Spurs. Wonderful saves from Lloris on every single chance he had. But on another day, Rashford would have got himself a hat-trick. So a little bit disappointed to miss out on that one there. And Dom Solanke for not really performing at home to Southampton after the good couple of weeks he's had. Happy I was able to get some good points on Trippier and Harvey Barnes. And as you can see, the players that I did suggest to you guys on the bench all contributed reasonably well as well. So justified in all of those picks. Just a shame I couldn't put the right ones in the starting 11 for this week. Overall, a game week score of 48, which was enough to around the 3 million mark. Still beating the average, of course, but it did mean that we had a fair few winners in this game week. So congratulations to everyone on your screen now. And as you can see there, Nazar with a ridiculous score of 82 in a game week where the average was 39. So fair play to you there. They did use their bench boost though. I did check that out when I looked at their team. But there is nothing wrong with that. That is a perfectly legal strategy in terms of winning in this sort of mini challenge that we do each week. At some point in this series, I will be using this account's bench boost as well. So bear that in mind that at some point, if you do manage to beat that team, a very big congratulations to you. But again, well done to all the people on your screen right there, including myself, my own team, getting 51, so just beating the best of team as well. Like I said, it could have gone a lot better, but not quite. Let's see what that has done to the league table. And as we see here, James Morris has slightly extended his lead over Paul Chambers, but some of the chasing pack have outscored him, meaning the gap to the top is still slowly getting closer, which is exactly what you want to see in terms of excitement. There is now only around 80 points between 1st and 15th. So still absolutely plenty to play for in the Esso 99 League. And if you're not in this league and you are watching this video, make sure you get yourself involved in the league as well. Link to the table will be available at the end of the video. Let's get into my Game Week 13 team. And we start with two players that are slight injury doubts. One of them is the last man on the bench, which is Totti. He is, of course, the cheapest defender on the game right now. He didn't play last weekend due to his injury, but Kilman and Collins are also back for Wolves now, so I'd be surprised if you saw him anytime soon. I just think he is going to be a good option for, if you're happy to have a cheap player on the bench that's never going to play, this is still your guy right now. So he is the first injury concern. The second one is Mr. Darwin Nunez, who I think still will play, but he is a slight doubt. The reports I've read this morning suggest that he is going to play in the lunchtime game, and I've been very impressed with him over the last couple of weeks for Liverpool, so I think he is a very good pickup for this week. Liverpool do have some good fixtures coming up as well, so given the fact that Diaz and Jota are out for a while, Nunez is going to be playing an awful lot, and I think for 8.8 million, he is one that you should definitely be looking at for your teams right now. Sticking with Liverpool, and we're going to jump to the defence, where Mr. Joe Gomez has been very, very good in the last couple of games. And up against Nottingham Forest, I think they're one of the few teams that are probably good for a clean sheet this weekend. So I don't think I need to say any more than that. Joe Gomez, cheap defender, playing for Liverpool. Very good option to have. And for the second week in a row, we obviously didn't use him in the midweek, but we used him last weekend. We're going to go for Jose Sarr in goal. Wolves at home to Leicester. Don't really think I need to say much more about that. Moving on to the rest of the defence, and we're going to go for a West Ham man. Now, the last time we did this, we picked the wrong one. I'm going to go for Cresswell this time. He seems to have played the majority of the last few games, playing the whole 90 minutes. And if Bournemouth play anything like they did against Southampton, West Ham will be very good for that clean sheet. And rounding off the defence, we have the first of our Man City players. And of course, it is going to be João Cancelo. Top point scorer defensive-wise this season. I can't see that changing anytime soon. And at home to Brighton, you would expect Man City to get the clean sheet and Cancelo to be probably involved in some capacity at the other end as well. On to the second of my risky picks for this week after Nunez, and sticking with the theme of Manchester City, I am going to go for Phil Foden. I had a look at who's played the most so far for City this season, and only Bernardo Silva has started more games in the Premier League than Phil Foden this season, and he's only played 45 minutes once. The rest of the time he's played more than 45 minutes, Phil Foden. So not only that, he is also City's highest point scoring midfielder. So I think he is going to play. I think he's going to be involved. So it is a gamble, and we have got some bench options if Foden and Nunez don't play. But I think right now, considering it's a tough week to call, I think you've got to go for some Man City players, and Phil Foden is, in my opinion, the most likely to do something from midfield. Next to him, we're going to go for Arsenal's star man so far this season, and that is Gabriel Martinelli. We've spoken about him on so many videos so far this series. Away at Southampton, and with Saka also doubtful, I think he is a very good option to have for this week. Next to him, we are going to go for another West Ham player in Jarrod Bowen. Again, has played well over the last couple of weeks. He's going to feel a little bit aggrieved that he missed that penalty at Anfield in midweek, but that's not the sort of thing that will slow him down, and against Bournemouth, you would expect him to be involved in some capacity. And finally, it was tough to find some good midfielders for this week, given how difficult the fixtures really are. I've gone for Anthony Gordon. He's been playing well. He has, of course, picked up 6 yellow cards, so not the best in terms of points come back so far on him. But I don't know. I feel he's always the most likely for Everton. And against Crystal Palace, I think Everton will be able to get themselves on the score sheet. And inevitably, Gordon will be involved in some capacity. Just hopefully it's in the point-scoring department. Next, then, we have our strikers. And I'm going to start with this man here, Mr. Ivan Toney, who has to be a shoo-in for the England squad now, the way he's been playing recently. And against an Aston Villa side in a complete disarray at the moment. They've just sacked their manager. Potentially, it is the wrong time to play Aston Villa when they've just sacked their manager. But honestly, I think the way Tony's playing right now, I can definitely see him doing something today against Villa. And of course, finally, it's not going to be any surprise here. Our final player and our captain is, of course, Erling Haaland. City are the favourites to win their game this week. I think of all the fixtures, there is nothing more likely than a Man City win. And you would, of course, expect Haaland to do the damage. And you've all got him in your teams and as captain anyway, so you don't need me to tell you that. Rounding off the team then, we do have the bench. And we're going to start with all of them right there. Danny Ward is still our backup keeper. And my two sort of backup picks is going to be my bias. I'm going to go for the two Man United players that have impressed me so much over the last couple of weeks. Marcus Rashford, obviously, still staying in the team, even though he didn't score against Spurs, but he keeps having those chances. He'll do something against Chelsea, I feel. And then Luke Shaw as well. I fancy United for the clean sheet, as you saw in predictions yesterday. So they're going to be my advice as the backup. And obviously, if Nunez and Foden don't play, these two will both come into the team. And that is going to be it for today. And of course, if you think that your team has what it takes to beat the Game Week 13 team, please let me know by writing down in the comments what team you're going to go for and join the Esso 99 League. Code is on screen now. As you've seen in this video, winning managers will be shouted out in next week's video. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again very, very soon.